better bring it if we debating going toe to toe. No holding back, I'm speaking the facts. Let me introduce you to the dopest show. NerdyD and Milwaukee Mike, bringing the energy. If you a fan of wrestling and especially WWE, this is the Casual Wrestling Show. Casual Wrestling Show. We got opinions, we letting them know. Casual Wrestling Show. Hey, ain't no holding back.
What's up, guys? It is Tuesday. This is the Casual Wrestling Show with Mike and D. I am the official, unofficial YouTube ambassador for Friday Night SmackDown's NerdyD. As always, joined by the co-host of the show, the official, unofficial YouTube ambassador for Monday Night Raw, the one and only Milwaukee Mike. Each week, we bring you fast-paced hot takes for your listening enjoyment. We're going to touch on Raw, SmackDown, and AEW, plus update our power rankings this week. But first, Mike, the live draft special was last Friday, and I would dare to say it was a success. We had over 250 unique viewers of the stream, 200 plus chat interactions, and over 2,000 impressions after it aired live. So that's people who at some point clicked on it to check it out. So I call it a success. So having said that, we've discussed possibly doing some premium live event watch-alongs. If you guys want that, if you guys show interest in that, let us know in the comment section that that's something that you would be interested in. And we can set that up going forward. Maybe after Backlash, we'll see how that works. Now, we're 1 week removed, or we're 1 week out from Backlash, Mike, and we're going to be doing our picks here in a little bit, but I want to do a giveaway this week. I'd like to give something away. So what I have behind me here, they're hard to see, I'll show them better later, is 2 Casual Wrestling Premium Live Event banners for Backlash. One has our WWE champion, Cody Rhodes. The other has Tiffany Stratton, who's making her main roster debut. So I want to give those away to anybody in the community who does this right here. I need you to go to casualwrestling.club and click the join button. It's 100% free. It is an alternative community to the Discord. I've gotten a lot of feedback, Mike. There's a lot of people who just don't like Discord. They find it confusing. They don't love, they call, a lot of our audience is older. They don't love that it's kind of a kids community. So they've been asking for an alternative. So this is what I've researched to find the easiest. It's free. It doesn't charge money. It's a place that does a lot of the same things, plus gives us the ability for like live streaming updates in the platform. So it's interesting. We'll be testing some of those features, but that's casualwrestling.club, C-L-U-B. All right. So Mike, the draft is over.
It is.
It was a dud, Mike. A stinker. It was a shit show, I might say.
Now that's something somebody from SmackDown would say.
No. It's time to do away with the draft, Mike. It's an insult to our intelligence. It makes us as WWE fans look stupid. We got excited for nothing. We were fired up. I thought this was going to be something that we had fun, and then I realized very quickly, we're just putting everybody back on the same rosters. We're just going to make a couple changes in the middle, and we're going to pretend like everybody's stupid and not acknowledge what's really going on. Mike, it's time for a free agency program. WWE needs to switch over to free agency. We need length contracts that create storylines where, not at the draft, but at different points of the year, there are people who go up with the ability to change brands. It creates better interactions with GMs. It makes GMs make sense. I think the draft should be reserved for NXT.
Yeah.
I think it should be like a 3-round thing that happens on NXT. Here's the problem. For every time they make an NXT person kind of feel special, you draft them in like the 6th round with the 4th pick. To me, it's kind of like, well, why do I care about Kiana James? Yeah. Now, she's the 2nd pick of the NXT draft. That feels a little more special to me. Now, I know you're about to break down to me because we still got to talk about the draft. It happened. You're going to break down why Monday Night Raw won the draft, and I'm going to listen, but I'm going to forewarn you early. I have put together compelling reasons why SmackDown is a superior brand, but I'll let you go first. Tell me why Monday Night Raw won the draft.
So, Friday night comes along, and before SmackDown gets on the air, I hit up my boy Adam Pearce.
Okay.
And I kind of let my inner black come out. I said,
okay.
You bet not mess this up. You bet not mess this up. And let me tell you, Pierce came through for me. Listen, the Raw roster is stacked. Now I'm gonna give SmackDown a cupcake, right? You got the Bloodline. That'll take you through the next year, right? But outside the Bloodline, you're really struggling with talent, okay? So let me break this down for you, right? I'll give you the cupcake and the layup here. You got the Bloodline.
Okay.
That'll take you through the next year. But outside of that, you're struggling, all right? I got the list here. Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, CM Punk, Chad Gable, who's now heel.
Okay.
Damian Priest on the Judgment Day, Dijak, who had a nice run at NXT.
Okay.
McIntyre, Gunther. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We have so many potential matchups that we can press out of this roster. We have so much potential with some of the NXT call-ups. The women's division, while I think it could be a little bit better, I think we have the stronger women's division. We got Rhea Ripley, Damage Control, Becky Lynch. You know, we got a couple tag teams here. Kiana James, which is a promising talent from NXT. We got names here, and I think going into this Netflix deal, which, you know, SmackDown, they're going to stay on regular cable. You know, that's all good and well. We got the $5 billion deal here on Netflix that we're going over here. We're gonna show out. So you know what? Yeah, you know, Raw's stack here. You know, outside of you guys having the Bloodline, I think we're good, man. We're sitting pretty.
So here's the problem. You did the thing that I thought everybody was going to do, Mike. You're only looking at the additional picks from the draft. You're looking at the things you got. I'm here to sober you and the CWC up, and I'm gonna offer a different point of view from this. You know, I concede. Braun Breaker, A+ pick of the draft. If we're just going top pick, you won the draft. Ilya Dragunov, it stings a little bit, but like, I don't know. Ilya's a 5'10", like, cruiserweight. I don't expect WWE wants to match him up with guys like Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Ilya Dragunov, if this was AEW, Mike, pick of the night. This is WWE. This is where the big boys come to play. We don't need little 5'10", 210-pound guys flopping around the ring. Here's the deal, Mike. Let's be realistic. Let's create a comp for Ilya Dragunov, okay? The comp for Ilya Dragunov is not Drew McIntyre. It's not Braun Strowman. It's not a big main event guy. It's Adam Cole. It's Adam Noodle Arm Cole. That is the comp for Ilya Dragunov. But here's the thing. I'm not even gonna go deep into that. Here's the two biggest points that everybody missed from the draft, and I'm gonna have to correct you, Mike. SmackDown is leaps and bounds now the most overloaded women's division in all of professional wrestling in the entire world. Come on, Mike. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Bayley, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi. We pick up Chelsea Green. That was an absolute fail on your GM's part. Piper Niven can live without her, but we'll take her as an asset. We got Candice LeRae, who is on the uptick as a heel. You lose that. We also pick up Nia Jax. We keep Michin, which is not being talked about. And I'm going to assume that with Andrade on our roster, we've still got Charlotte Flair locked in. On WWE.com right now, Charlotte's on the SmackDown roster, so I'm calling that official. I just don't think you can touch that, Mike. Here's the thing. Going into the draft, SmackDown was already the better men's division, okay? So I expected that we weren't going to take any huge names from that department. We weren't going to have any big steals. Did I hope maybe we got one? I hope so, but we still have the Bloodline. Roman Reigns is still listed on the SmackDown roster on WWE.com. We pick up Cody Rhodes, which isn't being talked about. We still have Logan Paul, who brings in outside talent. You guys borrowed him this week. You're welcome for that. We have the Pride, which is Montez Ford, who's set to explode at any moment. We keep Santos without all the bullshit that's been surrounding him. We pick up Gargano and Ciampa. We still have Randy Orton. Now, we lost Braun Breaker, but we pick up Carmelo Hayes, which I'm calling A to B, right? We lose an A level, we pick up a B level. I'm okay with that. We have LA Knight, who has all the potential in the world. I'll be the first to admit right now, he's on the downswing, but he has all the potential in the world. And we have AJ Styles, and Mike, we got Baron Corbin. I don't know, that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean shit, but we got Baron Corbin. So, but I think, Mike, I'll go 1 for 1 for you at the top of the roster. Here's the problem. Monday Night Raw is the mid-card messiah. That's what it is. You are the mid-card mecca. You have the greatest mid-card ever constructed in professional wrestling. But at the top of your roster, it's just looking extremely thin. Like, outside of a couple guys like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, you... Don't tell me Damian Priest. Like, Damian Priest is a transitional champion. He's not carrying Monday Night Raws. And Gunther, I've yet to see how interesting Gunther can be when he's not holding a title. So those are the things I want to do. But I want to do one more thing before I finish here. And that's, I want to personally thank you and Adam Pearce for taking a couple people away from SmackDown and trimming the fat off the roster. What nobody's talking about, it's addition by subtraction, Mike. You can have Damage Control. I can't understand what the fuck they're saying. You can have all the subtitles that you want, Mike. You can have them. You know, you took LWO. Thank God. You can have Rey Mysterio. All Rey Mysterio does is bury Mexican talent on the roster. That's all he does. He buries his son Dom. He buries Carlito. He buries Santos. Thank God he's off of my roster. But the biggest win, Mike, the biggest win of the night, and I know you know what's coming here. You took Karrion Kross. You got the Final Testament off of my... I don't have to watch these stupid basement promos where he talks about time's ticking and time's up, and then he goes and loses another 10 matches. It's addition by subtraction. So Ilya Dragunov, I give you a B+. Braun Baker, solid A+. But me getting rid of the Final Testament, the LWO, and Damage Control, that's A+ as far as I'm concerned. Raw is the mid-card mecca. That's what you are.
I don't know, man. That got me a little sleepy. I'm not gonna lie. That got me a little sleepy. I mean, you guys, you're really struggling over that. Your U.S. champion, he's a part-time guy. He's a part-time guy. Your tag team champions are. He'll show up. Your tag team champions might be the most exciting part of the show. I mean, Cody Rhodes, he's already stale after a month.
Nah.
Bayley,
nah.
She's mid. She's mid. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, on our side, you got to think matchups, man. Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. Ilya versus Gunther. CM Punk versus like a Braun Breaker. I mean, there's so many things. Seth Rollins versus a Braun Breaker.
Is CM Punk ever going to wrestle though? I mean, he just keeps coming back and saying, "When I'm cleared, when I'm cleared, when I'm cleared."
No. We had a phone call. We're good. We're on track. We're on track. We're coming.
Here's my problem. You talk about matchups. My problem is out on your women's division. You're smoking something, Mike, because Rhea Ripley anchors your division. Outside of that, outside of Rhea Ripley, you have an aging, I need a vacation Becky Lynch. You have Grandma, I'm going to Vegas Asuka. You have Dakota, one-leg Kai. You have a pair of witches who never wrestle. You have a miniature pit bull at 4'7" named Ivy Nile. You have can't move the needle Damage Control with Io Sky and Kairi Sane. You have the tiniest two women in the world, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Kiana James, who the fuck is that? Liv Morgan, we've established her flaws. You have... who else is on this? Maxine Dupree, no explanation needed there. Laya Valkyrie, once again, who the fuck is that? Natty Retirement Home Neidhart, Scarlett the Valet, Shayna, I can only beat Ronda Rousey, Baszler, Zelina, the queen of anime, and Zoe Stark, who has all the potential in the world, but gets start and stop booking. Mike, before you go, one question. Do you have anybody over the size of 5'3" that can fight Rhea Ripley? It looks like the Lollipop Guild from Wizard of Oz on your women's roster.
This could be my last thing, and we can move on. The winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, may it come from SmackDown. Which brand are they going to challenge the championship for? I'll leave it at that.
Oh, you have the superior champion. I agree.
They're going to come over here. They're going to see our champion.
And she's injured.
Well, when she comes back, we know what the deal is.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just last thing is I just want to know, did y'all just decide to take the entire 2019 women's roster from NXT? Is that what y'all were? Was that the plan?
We'll see. We'll see when the dust settles.
All right. So, all right. Let's. It's Backlash week. It crept up on me. I wasn't ready for it. Yeah. And let's make our picks. I know every podcast tends to do predictions on what they think is going to happen, Mike. I'm going to do something different this week. I'm going to pick with my heart. I'm not going to pick with my head. I'm going to pick with my heart and see how that works, because I've been absolutely dog shit when I pick with my head. When I try to, if I try to tell you who I think is going to win, I'll get everything completely wrong. So I'm going to be different this week, and I'm going to pick with my heart who I want to win. So card right now, I believe we have 5 matches on card. This is a weak card, because none of this really has any implication for anything going forward. The draft made this completely throwaway. But the card right now, Jade and Bianca versus Damage Control. Who do you have?
I would imagine that they would put the titles on Jade and Bianca. I would think that would be the one surprise, upset or, victory of the night. And that's probably not even an upset, honestly, but I think that's the one thing that we can probably go home and say, cool.
Yeah, I think based on keeping Jade and Bianca on the same brand, the plan is going forward to protect Jade Cargill by putting her into a tag team with Bianca Belair. I think, like love or hate Damage Control, they haven't done anything with the tag team championships. That's been the history of those titles. You have to finally put them on 2 people that matter, and then Triple H is going to have to do a better job of setting up contenders for those 2 champions. But I'm with you. I think my heart says Jade and Bianca win this match. So then we have KO and Randy versus Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. Who picks up the victory here?
I don't think this ends in a contest. I think this is kind of one of those DQs.
Interesting.
We'll have like a 10-minute, 15-minute match, and then some outside stuff will happen, and it'll be a DQ.
I like that. I didn't even think about that. Picking with my heart, I want Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa to win. Even though I love Randy and KO. This bloodline needs to stay compelling. And I think in order to stay compelling, they have to now, that second level of the bloodline, the Tama Tonga, the Solo Sikoa, if they bring in other names, they have to establish a dominance on SmackDown that keeps them relevant. Because the worst thing that can happen is that Solo just keeps jobbing out to guys like KO and Randy, and then they try to pull the trigger when Roman's ready and when Rock's ready. They try to make us believe. It's kind of what I think they did with Jay and Jimmy, right? They should have gave us Jay and Jimmy when they initially broke up, and they held on to it. They let it cool off, and we got to WrestleMania, and they cut it for time. That's what I don't want with the bloodline here. Keep them on fire, keep them hot. So I'm going to pick Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa to pick up a victory here.
Okay, I'm good with that.
We got Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi.
I'm Bayley.
I'm going to go Tiffany Stratton. I'm going to go. Let's shake things up. Like this premium live event, if it just goes the way we expect it to go, it's going to be 3 hours of boredom at 1 o'clock or noon. Let's go Tiffany Stratton. Let's shake it up early. Let's get Bayley chasing again, because I'm with you what you said earlier. Bayley is not a great champion. She doesn't move the needle as a champion. When she's chasing, she's good. I think that Tiffany Stratton with the title, forcing Bayley to chase and maybe win it back at some point, I think that's more interesting. So I'm picking with my heart, and I think that Tiffany Stratton going forward is a better champion than Bayley.
I think Naomi's in this match to take the pin to keep Tiffany strong. Yeah.
Damian Priest versus Jey Uso.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Damian's going to win. I want Jay to win. I feel like Jay, at this point, deserves a singles championship with, the momentum that he's had, but I just don't see how you have Damian cash in and he just loses it the next month. I'm going to go with Damian.
So I'm with you on all of the logic. All that logic checks out. Problem is, once again, I'm going to tell you, guys like Jey Uso, he needs a title. He needs a spark. We got to elevate with the roster that you have right now, because all jokes aside, with the Monday Night Raw roster, there's a lot. It's built on a lot of potential. Guys like Jey Uso have a ceiling that is unbelievable. Yeah. And you can strap a rocket to that man's back if he beats Damian Priest. I get it. I get Damian Priest had his moment at WrestleMania. I just don't foresee that Damian Priest can carry Monday Night Raw for the next 6 months. I don't think he's that guy. I think there's more exciting things you could do with Judgment Day involving Damian Priest than just lining up challenger after challenger. I think, honestly, that title makes more sense in the hands of Jey Uso in the world of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. That title needs to be there, and let Damian do what he does. I am a fan, Mike, of short title runs. I think it makes wrestling feel more real. If a guy can win at WrestleMania, and we've been brainwashed to believe that Damian needs 3 to 4 months, if he turns around and loses it a month later, and I'm okay with him winning it back 2 months later, I would like a little bit of parity. So I'm going to go Jey Uso here, because if it's not Tiffany Stratton, I think Jey Uso's my next in line to come out of Backlash talking about something. Because I think the worst thing they can do is have this unbelievable WrestleMania and then go through Backlash and we go, ooh, that was just exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Does the Bloodline get involved in this?
To what extent? Because they're so fractured. In which match you're talking about?
Does the Bloodline get involved with Jay to prevent?
I don't think so. I honestly, from what I'm seeing, I think they're trying to separate Jay from the Bloodline right now.
Okay.
I think that Jimmy's going to have Bloodline problems on SmackDown when he finally comes back, and it'll all tie in. And maybe eventually they rope Jay in, but the vibe I'm getting right now is that Jay is his own person, and that Jay has like main title aspirations, which I think is the right play with Jey Uso. I would love nothing more. He beats Damian Priest and Jey Uso's leading. I think the most exciting thing for Monday Night Raw could be showing up Monday next week and Jey Uso's holding the world title, and we're yeeting all over the place. Yeah. Last one here is Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles.
I mean, Cody Rhodes. Even if I wanted Cody to lose, I don't want AJ.
I'm with you, and I'm with you on the fact that this is not even done. This is just like chapter 1 of whatever the new Cody book is. This AJ Styles thing has to go. It didn't get enough build up. They're staying on the same brand. There's no way Cody's not the guy. He's not losing the title. You don't invest. No. I saw him say that his plan is to be the most profitable WWE superstar of all time. You don't do that by dropping after beating the main guy. Cody's got a meaty run coming. So that's it, man. 5 matches. Any chance that the new Wyatt group shows up, do you think, anywhere on that card?
I think this would probably be the spot that you would probably.
It feels like it, right? It needs something. Yeah. It's just so bare bones. Yeah, I feel like it'd be a great place to have them. You could do it in either one of the main title matches. It might be interesting to have somebody interfere.
I honestly think they probably need it, because we're gonna hit a stretch here where you could start going a little stale. So I think having the Wyatt 6 come in would be interesting.
Definitely. All right, Mike, let's switch over to AEW, our AEW affirmations. I'm 1 week into this new experiment, 83 more days to go. And I'll start off with an affirmation. Tony Khan. Okay. Tony Khan will tell you, I really like the way that you believe your own bullshit. Going on TV and taking shots at WWE, calling them the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. Shout out to you, bro, for having the autistic balls to say some wild shit like that on NFL programming. Even better, right? Do what you got to do to sell tickets, brother. But real thoughts, Mike. AEW is hard to watch. It is so hard to watch. And I went into this completely unbiased with an open mind. I want to like what Tony Khan calls Pepsi, but that's not Pepsi. That's Dr. Thunder. That's Walmart brand soda, man. Here's the deal, Mike. They have a guy on there. You know who this guy is, Swerve Strickland. You know Swerve Strickland, bona fide superstar. He could be a huge commercial success in pro wrestling. WWE, I believe Triple H would give an arm and a leg right now to have him back on the WWE roster. And so you figure that guy's going to be front and center. You're going to parade him out there. That's your champion, Mike. He's second on the card after some weird Orange Cassidy opening. What? I don't get it. He's second feature on the card. And who's he fighting? I don't know. Slim Shady? Some blonde dude that I've never seen before as a casual fan? That doesn't make sense to me. Swerve's the real deal. Like, anybody with two eyes can see that.
Well, I could tell you what happened, right? Tony Khan is one of those guys that he wants to feed the fans, right? The fans wanted a Swerve Strickland win. So he gave it to him, but now he has no idea what to do with the guy, right? He's not a guy that I see that books 6 months ahead.
Agreed.
He's booking for right now. And that's why you see all these matches every week. That's a dream match, right? Because that's kind of when I went to a couple weeks ago. They have no storytelling.
Yeah. It's just completely lost.
Yeah. So I guess, like, for my affirmation this week is I'm kind of excited that Kenny Omega is going to be back.
Yeah.
I don't know
he's the most storytelling thing they have.
I don't know what it's going to look like. I know that he might have a feud with the Elite, which I'm looking forward to because, quite frankly, I'm not a fan of the Elite.
Yeah.
But I also am a fan of Kenny Omega off camera because he keeps it real. Yeah. Right. He's a real dude. And I'm interested to see what can happen. I don't know if he's cleared medically. I don't know if it's just going to be one of those things where, like, he does like a CM Punk where
they just need him.
Yeah. But I guess that's my positive for this week is that you're getting a guy back that I think a lot of people can resonate with outside of like a MJF or, former WWE superstar. So I guess that's my positive affirmation for this week.
Let me ask you this. I want to see if you agree with this.
Yeah.
Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, phenomenal in-ring talent. And I think we both agree lack of storying is the problem, right? And they have 100 different belts that are completely indistinguishable at this point.
Right.
If you were watching AEW, it's your first time you've ever watched. I don't know. Did you watch this last week's Dynamite?
Yeah, I did. I did.
What's the main title in AEW? Is it the IWGP title? Is that what it is? Because I don't even know what the fucking IWGP title is. And you have Swerve Strickland, bona fide, can be superstar. And instead, your main event of the night is Jon Moxley versus, who did he wrestle? I don't even remember.
Hobbs.
But, well, okay, which is a perfectly fine match. But for the IWGP title, that's your main event of the night. As a casual fan, if it's my first time watching, I'm like, why am I supposed to care about a title that's not really your title?
See, I like the amount of titles that they have. I wish WWE would adopt that because it gives more to fight for. And I think the problem, again, I'm going to boil it back down, is the storytelling, right? If all these titles were in WWE, I think they'd have a phenomenal time telling stories and creating storylines to make those titles feel important and keep them relevant. When you go to AEW, it's just like, well, we have a title from Japan. We have a title from Ring of Honor. We have a title from this indie promotion. We have our Continental title and our Trio title. And it's just a bunch of jumbled up, toys, I guess.
It feels like boxing to me.
Yeah.
Because it's a bunch of letters that I don't know I'm with you. I wish WWE had more titles, but WWE does a very good job of distinguishing like the Intercontinental title and why it has a lineage and why it's important and how different it is from and how different it looks from like the WWE title. They make even if they're ugly, they're different. Every title looks different in WWE. Right. And Triple H has gone even farther of like distinguishing belts instead of just color, but having them look differently. And with AEW, it feels like boxing. It's IWGP, the International, Intercontinental, the tag team trios from Ring of Honor. It's like you have redundant titles that I have a hard time following. All right, which are the ones that I'm really supposed to give a shit about?
I agree. I agree with that.
And so deep down inside, I do believe, Mike, that there's a decent wrestling show buried inside of AEW. It's hindered by this need of like certain guys to feel hipster and different and certain guys to feel indie. But it's conflicting because half the time I feel like I'm watching sports entertainment and half the time I feel like I'm watching backyard wrestling. It's kind of a conflicting thing. And so it's a clusterfuck. And it's hard to comprehend. On one hand, you got Jericho doing straight up WWE content, like the learning tree and stuff. That's straight out of a WWE playbook. And then on the other hand, you have Will Ospreay doing like Circus Soleil.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's watching so many different shows. And my biggest problem, Mike, is that the IWC gets behind this guy who was riding on another guy's shoulders a year ago. The jungle boy bitch, whatever his name is, jungle bitch.
Yeah.
Now he's being booked to be Billy Badass, and he's beating up his autistic boss. And we're supposed to go like, oh, he's big and scary, but that last segment came off so Young Bucks, entitled, Mean Girls. We have to close the show, even though we have Swerve Strickland and we have all of these guys who could really like benefit from being the main event and ending the show. Instead, we're going to make it about us. We're going to try and replicate. It looks like the Wish version of the Bloodline. Like they're trying to create this faction that kind of runs the show, but they're all like 5'2". Yeah. I'm sorry, none of them are scary to me. It's Circus Soul AEW. It's a joke. They're like circus workers. I guarantee you, Mike, if me and you took the AEW roster and maybe we do it one episode and we trim it down 30 to 35 superstars and we put together a competent 2-hour wrestling show, we could rival WWE in watchability. Now marketing and all that shit's a different thing. But if me and you sat down and put together matches with 30 to 35 of their best superstars, where the hell are all the guys that I recognize? Where the hell is Edge? Why is he not on Dynamite? Where's Christian? All these guys that I know as a casual wrestling fan are just not there.
Yeah. I think what they should do is they should get rid of Collision. Stop the Saturday show. Mm-hmm. Focus on Wednesday. Wednesday is your standalone
1 2-hour show.
1 2-hour show. Keep it just to your titles. ROH can keep ROH.
It can be its own thing. Yeah.
Keep it its own thing. Straight AEW. Our titles, our talent. Focus on one show and get a consistent pay-per-view schedule. And focus on the storytelling, and I think this thing looks a whole lot different.
Completely different. When you're talking about Swerve Strickland versus Jericho, Christian versus Edge, you start putting names in front of people. You can sprinkle in these little fucking hipster guys that you want to do, but 90% of that Dynamite were people that I had no clue who they were. And they never made me feel these guys like, I don't know, Okada or whatever his name is, or they never give me a reason outside of, unless you live in your mom's basement and you never go outside and you pound on your keyboard and you look up New Japan Pro Wrestling matches, you have no reason to understand who the hell any of these people are. And that doesn't work on a broad spectrum. So my biggest takeaway, Mike, is stop trying to compete. Call yourself the indie brand. Don't stop trying to say WWE's Coke and we're Pepsi. Don't just differentiate yourself. Say WWE's Coke and we're ginger ale. We're a completely different drink. We're not even trying to compete. We're an indie wrestling company that does very high promotional and what do you call it? Just like lights and cameras and shit like that. It's better than backyard wrestling. That's what I think AEW needs to do. That's my first impression. 83 more days to go, Mike. 83 more days to go.
Good luck.
All right, so we're going to tweak our power rankings up a little bit this week. Instead of an overall top 10, I think it makes more sense, since we are brand ambassadors now, that we do our respected top 5 brands and we reveal those to each other and kind of explain them each week. So the rules, simple. Now, men, women, tag teams, all eligible to make the list. There will be a Raw Casual Pound for Pound Power 5 presented by Milwaukee Mike, and a SmackDown Casual Pound for Pound top 5 presented by NerdyD. Do you want to go first this week? You want me to go first?
I can go.
Okay, go for it.
So first, don't come at me. This is for this specific week.
Definitely. Hey, these are our rankings. Fuck all these people. You know what? Before we go on, fuck these people. I saw someone try and come at our Solo Sikoa pick. They can kiss our ass about that shit. Solo Sikoa's on fire. You can't be mad at that.
I agree.
Right, let's go.
So I got number 1 this week is Gunther. He's coming off a strong match. I think he's kind of got some momentum. 2 is Liv Morgan, offered a number 1 contendership match. She won that. I think she's got some momentum as well. 3, I'm going to go with Jey Uso.
Okay.
4, I'm going Bronson Reed. I think he came out of that spat between Gable and Sam. I think he came out on top and looking a little bit stronger than both of them. So, and then 5, I'm going to go Awesome Truth. They're the tag titles.
Okay.
They got to win. I think you gotta put some respect on a tag team. So I'm going Gunther, Liv Morgan, Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, and Awesome Truth.
Like it. I like it. Now that could look very different coming out of Backlash.
It could.
That could look very
can.
different. And Jey Uso pulls an upset. We're talking about Jey Uso #1 next week.
Absolutely.
All right, so my power 5, I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna go number 5, AJ Styles. I don't love AJ Styles, but he's done enough to stay in my top 5 this week. Number 4, I'm going Team RKO.
Okay.
They have a segment coming up this week where they're going to do a talk show. I think that they're interesting enough. I think that their involvement with the Bloodline has been fun, which leads me to 3 is the Bloodline. Okay. And I'm including the whole faction. I'm breaking the rules, but that whole group, Heyman, Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa, number 3. Number 2, Cody Rhodes. I know that's going to be a little controversial because he's not doing much. I tried to, during the live stream, I tried to cut us off because I was a little frustrated. I was like, I don't want. But I ended up liking the match. I thought it was fresh. I thought it was good. There was the one big botch where they just jumped off the ropes and completely missed each other. I was like, come on, guys. We got to do better than that. That can't happen. But I'm still, Cody's going to be number 2. But my number 1, easy, simple. It's going to be hard to dethrone this team, Mike. It's going to be hard to take them out of my top spot. Something really bad's going to have to happen. It's Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Okay. Like that, that's the top spot. They hold it down. They're about to win the tag team championships. They're about to go on a long run, probably all the way to WrestleMania next year, where they break up and have a match against each other. So that's my number 1.
Sure.
But this has been another episode of the Casual Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. Join the Discord. You can now join the casualwrestling.club, which is the alternative to the Discord, to enter for a chance to win one of these 2 banners behind me. I will show them on the screen more clear. But before we get out of here, Mike, it's time for one final bell. You went first last week. I'll go first this week. Let me hit you with my last take, Mike. Since Tony Khan will basically do anything to sell tickets, here's what I suggest. I suggest that we look into signing the bus that hit Darby Allin in the middle of New York City, and at Double or Nothing, we do Darby Allin versus the bus one-on-one, no holds barred, for whatever random title, the Broadway title. Whatever they want to do, let's do that. All right?
You could have him go against Mount Everest, too.
True. Triple threat. I heard that the bus is now going to climb Mount Everest.
Oh, man. That's good, man. That is fantastic. Oh, man. So my final take this week, all right?
Yes, sir.
My final take is going to be this. Tony Khan, you have really got to get your foot out of your mouth and think before you speak. You're going to kill your company and bury it before it can ever reach the promised land. Get with a PR team, listen to your talent in the back, and get your head on straight, man, because the only reason the AEW is going to fail is because of you.
Tune in next week, guys.
Hey, you better bring it if we debating going toe-to-toe. No holding back, I'm speaking the facts. Let me introduce you to the dopest show. NerdyD and Milwaukee Mike, bringing the energy. If you a fan of wrestling, and especially WWE, this is the Casual Wrestling Show.